I want to show you something. This card gets me from my front door to downtown Lisbon, to Cascais, onto the metro, the buses, even the ferry going across the Tagus River. And because I'm a senior, it's only 20 euros a month for unlimited travel on all of it. Compare that to what I was paying to get around in America. My car payment was $547 a month. Insurance was another $170 a month. And the apartment where I lived charged me $100 a month just to park in the garage. Add in gas and other costs, and I was paying nearly $1,000 a month just for the privilege of having a car. Today I want to answer a question that I get asked a lot by people who are thinking of moving here. Do I really need a car in Portugal? The answer really depends on where you decide to live. Let me break it down. I live in Carcavelos, about 20 minutes west of Lisbon on the Cascais line. The train runs about every 20 minutes during the day. It costs me about €2 for a single journey if I don't use my monthly pass. And the view along the coast, I'll let that speak for itself. Now, I want to be transparent with you because that's what I do on this channel. My wife has a car. She needs it because she works in Sintra, which isn't on the direct rail line. But here's the thing, we almost never drive it into Lisbon, and I never drive it at all. So one possible workaround to avoid the cost of a car is marry someone who already has one. I can't officially recommend this as a relocation strategy, but I'm happy to report that it does work. The point is, even with a car available to me, I've never needed it for my daily life here. I get around just fine when she's at work, and that tells you something. Now let's talk about what owning a car in Portugal actually costs, because most expats dramatically underestimate it. Here's what you're looking at. The purchase price or the lease payment. And most cars are more expensive here than in the US. Shipping one over from America is almost prohibitively expensive, so plan on buying locally. Insurance. As a foreign driver in your first year here, this can be surprisingly high. The IUC, the annual road tax, around €150 a year or more depending on the vehicle. Gasoline currently runs about €2 per liter, which works out to roughly $8 a gallon in American terms. Then there's tolls. They're everywhere on Portugal's highways, and they add up faster than you'd expect. Parking in central Lisbon, plan on 15 to 25 euros a day if you're not in a residential zone. When you add it all up, a modest car in the Lisbon area will cost you 600 to 900 euros a month or more when you factor everything in. Compare that to 40 euros for a standard monthly Navigante pass, or 20 euros if you're over 65. That gap between 900 and 20 euros is real money every single month. And here's something that surprised me when I first arrived. Even when you don't want to take the train or the metro, maybe it's late, maybe you've got luggage, maybe you're just tired, Uber and Bolt are both widely available in Lisbon and Porto, and they're really cheaper than anything you're used to in America. A ride that would cost you $25 to $35 in a US city, I'm talking airport to downtown distance, regularly runs about 8 to 12 euros here. Bolt in particular tends to undercut Uber slightly, and having both apps on your phone means you can compare prices in real time before you commit. So when people ask me if I feel stranded without a car, I don't. Between the train, the metro, the bus, and a €10 Bolt ride when I need door-to-door service, I've never once wished I had a car in Lisbon. But here's where I have to be straight with you because that's what I do on this channel. This transit math only works if you live along the main corridors. The Cascais line, the metro network inside Lisbon, the Tagus line across the river. If you're in a small town, a rural area, or a suburb that isn't on the main rail line, the bus service exists, but it's slower and less frequent. In those situations, a car isn't a luxury, it's really a necessity. So before you fall in love with a beautiful village in the Alentejo or a hillside property on the interior, figure out your transit access first. Don't discover that the bus comes twice a day after you've already signed the lease. And here's another thing I found out after 4 years of living here. Portugal has made a fundamentally different choice than America about shared infrastructure. The Lisboa Navigante card works across every mode of transport. Train, metro, bus, tram, ferry, one card, tap in, tap out. Most American cities have been trying to build that for 30 years and still haven't managed. And the Lisbon Metro, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking New York at rush hour or the Chicago L at midnight. It's not that at all. Take a look at this. Each station was commissioned from a different Portuguese artist. They're essentially public art galleries that also happen to get you across the city in 20 minutes. When was the last time you felt that way about a subway station in America? And here's something else that matters, especially if safety is on your mind, as it is for a lot of people thinking about moving here. I've never once felt uncomfortable on Lisbon's metro. Not late at night, not during rush hour, not in any neighborhood I've passed through. Portugal's crime rate is among the lowest of any country in Western Europe. Lisbon consistently ranks as one of the safest capital cities on the continent. And that's not some accident. It reflects something real and deep about the culture here. And it means the metro isn't just convenient, it's genuinely pleasant to use. That's simply not something I could say about the cities I've lived in America. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, okay, fine, daily life in Lisbon, sure. But what about weekend trips, the Alentejo wine country, the Douro Valley, the Algarve coast? You can't get to those on a metro card. True. And here's the honest answer. Car rentals in Portugal are cheap and widely available. A weekend rental, Friday afternoon to Monday morning, it's only going to cost you 30 to 60 euros all in for a small car, including basic insurance. That's roughly what I used to spend on 2 tanks of gas back in the US. And driving a standard shift is pretty standard here. You might pay a bit more for an automatic. So my actual approach is this. I use public transit for everything in and around Lisbon, which is 90% of my life. And if I wanted to explore the interior of the country and my wife doesn't feel like driving her car, we can rent a car for the weekend. That way I get the flexibility without the monthly overhead. It's the best of both worlds. All right, so car or no car? Here's the honest answer. If you live in or around Lisbon, on the Cascais line, in Porto, or any community that has a good metro connection, you really don't need a car. Public transit is dependable, affordable, and really just a pleasure to use. And that 20 euro transit card makes it a no-brainer. If you plan on living in the rural area or in a smaller community in the interior of Portugal, budget for a car. The good thing is having a car in Portugal is generally less expensive than in the United States, especially if you buy a hybrid or a fully electric car, which there are a lot of them here, and charging stations are everywhere. I'm Dennis. This is Olá Portugal. I post videos about once a week on life and living in Portugal, and if you're still deciding on whether to move here, or even if you live here and you want to learn more about the culture, its people, the food, this channel's for you. See you on the next one.